bitches are here.
You think the bitches are great because you're fucking seasonal, nigga? You can't be seasonal. Niggas got this shit's 24 hours a day.
Kingz. You're listening to the Kingz Podcast with your hosts, Karizmatik, Irish O'Neal, and Moush.
Hey, welcome to another installment of the Kingz Podcast. I'm yours truly, Karizmatik.
What's up? It's Irish O'Neal.
Moush.
And I'm Dria Cartwright.
There we go.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
She joins us from the wild, adventurous lands of, Florida. where the animals are wild and the humans are wilder. But you've been up here for a little while now, right?
Yeah, I've been here for about a year and a half.
There we go. So we're getting to Boston in her so far, alleviating her Florida-ness. We're trying.
I don't know. You know what they say? You can take the Florida. What is it? You could put the Florida in someone, but you can't take the girl out of Florida.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like
you
that.
get the gist.
Yeah.
I've heard that you can your dog can be eaten by the gator, but the gator can't puke.
Oh yeah, that's also something.
You know what I'm saying?
I think
Florida
my grandmother
saying,
used to say that.
right? Was like wait.
What's that supposed to mean?
Huh?
What's that supposed to mean?
It means that like if the gator eats your dog, there's no way you can get the dog back.
Yeah,
So once
it's
it's done,
gone.
it's done.
Oh.
See how I pulled that out my ass too?
I was about to ask with you, man.
Hey, I'm just saying. That's what people usually say. Why you getting on me? Shoot. So as we usually do, we start off with the three principles. Irish, if you would grace us with the first.
Of course, the first principle we always preach is confidence. That's I argue probably the most important one you need. Confidence. You got to believe in what you're selling. If you don't believe in what you're selling, why should they buy it? You have to think you're the shit.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, if you don't want to fuck you, who's going to want to fuck you? You know what I'm saying? If you want to be your friend, who's going to want to be your friend? All right?
You right.
If you want to cook you some food, then get someone else to cook you some food. Because I'm lazy sometimes. You know?
You're wilder right now.
Because I got my juice.
Yeah, note to self, we can't give you sugar and caffeine before the podcast.
You
get
can't.
riled
And this
up.
is sugar and caffeine.
Wow, good to know. Okay.
Only thing
I
that
can
makes
see it in his
better-
eyes. He's
I
ready.
know. He's so
Only thing that makes it better
Why'd you-
is like
Why'd you
alcohol.
take the second one?
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So the second one is honesty, and this is the one that I think most guys usually mess up with because you're trying so hard to get in the pants that you forget yourself, man.
Yep.
Like take a step back and be like, yo, do I need to offend somebody to get there? And then secondly, like why violate who I am just to cross a finish line or something like.
It's gonna hurt you in the end.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, and most guys are dishonest because they're afraid of taking the L or not getting pussy, if we're speaking frankly. So they'll say whatever they have to say to try and get into a girl's pants. Then they dip. Then that's why guys look like assholes, because dickheads do that instead of just coming up front and being like, hey, this is what I'm looking for you. Are you down or not?
Right after the principles, I got to say something to you. Start the last one. I don't want to write it down.
You want to take the last one, social intelligence?
Sure, yeah, social intelligence. So we preach that. We always say, be funny, be interesting, have a hobby, something to talk about. Social intelligence, I think, is equally as important as all the other ones. But yeah, social intelligence, have it, keep it in all aspects of your life.
We say be funny, but yeah,
Yeah,
you
be
gotta
interesting.
Be some sort of interesting. I mean, you can even rob banks.
No,
Guys
don't
that
do
rob banks get girls, man. Rob banks. That's what Irish tells you today. I am Irish and rob banks.
Look at you know what? No, you know what proves that point? Bonnie and Clyde. Like Bonnie, I'm pretty sure was like a librarian or something, like really wholesome and nice. And then she met a guy, and it's like, how good does his game and the dick have to be that she went from being this wholesome librarian to shooting motherfuckers dead?
See, you say that, but women love activities, and he never stopped doing activities. He
That's a
always
bomb ass date.
he
dude. What are
had
you talking
mad
about?
This guy was an activities genius, man. activity. Like you could hide from the cops.
It's real
you
life
get
laser
shot at,
tag.
like, yeah, bro. On all levels.
Laser tag with high consequences.
Wait,
High
you
risk,
said
high reward.
that honesty was the second principle?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's challenging, especially when you first start out in relationships, because it requires a certain amount of like self-knowledge, and when you're first starting out, like there's a certain amount of trial and error that's required to like understand like what you want in a relationship.
Totally. Yeah.
I mean, I agree with that. My trial and error. I don't like a lot of people end up serial daters from that. You know what I mean? And then they don't know how to stay in a relationship.
Okay.
You know, so like this so like wow, yeah.
But I understand that point because, like, if you don't have self-awareness, that kind of goes against all the other principles. If you're not self-aware about what you like, what you're into, like who you truly are, then how are you supposed to spit game at all? Like, you can't come from an honest place.
Yeah.
True. You can't.
know?
You can't come from an honest place. And also, I mean, what type of social intelligence can you be giving off from a confused position?
Right.
Well,
You know what
and
I'm
it's
saying?
fair to say you have to get it wrong several times before you like really know what it is that you want.
True. But I don't think that has to be, like, me personally, I don't think that has to be in the guise of a relationship. Like, there are many
Fair.
relationships that happen in life that you can glean understandings from. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And pick up personality traits that you would like in a partner. And I mean, yes, usually it doesn't work out the first time, but it doesn't mean it doesn't.
Yeah. Well, you're living proof of that. You're like, because you've been with the only girl you've dated, and you've been together for almost 10 years.
And I've had a bunch of hookups, but like dating is different for me. I consider that like your mind's got to be right. It's not all about like the body or anything like that. Like literally, the mind has to be right for me to even think about dating you. So, yeah, I mean, and there've been a lot of great people that just never made the list, but like, you know, hats off to them. I mean, they're all in relationships now, and I guarantee they're with the better person than they would have felt with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like even understanding like what you want sexually, like you have to go through a couple partners to like really
Definitely.
understand.
Yeah. Definitely.
I feel that 100%.
I think the biggest thing about that as well, I think the one thing that I would agree with big time is that learning what's breakup worthy for some people.
Deal breaker.
You know what I mean? Like
What's a deal breaker?
Just
Yeah, you know,
being mad for a reason does not quantify a breakup. Like,
No, that's
Yeah.
that's a good point because like in recent years I've sort of really started to refine that, and like there's things that I know like 5-10 years ago I would have like immediately broken up with a chick that now I'm like does this really bother me? And like I'm able to like sit back and like I was very emotional when I was younger. I think most people are, but like now I'm able to like remove that and be much more logical about situations.
You can make
and stuff,
decisions with your emotions, as we often say.
Well, what are your deal breakers and how have they changed? That's just an
I
open
was just
question.
going to ask you that question. Our guest.
I'll start with this one. This one's big for me, and like this is the biggest one for me. I like a curious girl. You got to be curious, and you like. And when I say curious, that also goes with the judgment. If you're just so quick to judgment, I don't want to like. I can't have you around me constantly. I need a person that's gonna be like, "Ooh, what's that?" You know what I mean? And like show genuine interest, and then like explore it, and then find out if you don't like it or not. You know what I mean? I need a person that's like. At least you're coming into the world with an unbiased heart.
Yeah, you're open to shit.
You're
like,
open,
You're not
Yeah.
closed off to it, because it's like if you're closed off to it, then it's like, okay, well then we're probably not going to be on the same page. If you're being honest about what it is that you want, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, can you give a specific example of what curiosity looks like?
What curiosity looks like. So I grew up in a world where, I'm first generation African. So I grew up in a world where this is a certain way you're supposed to be as a man, as a female, all that. And then you grow up in a society that tells you people are supposed to be a certain way, it's supposed to do this and do that. So like me, I see the general acceptance of the LGBTQ must. You know what I'm saying? And that's the kind of openness I'm looking for, because by no principles is like it's still into a place where it's becoming normalized. You know what I'm saying? But it's still not that way for a lot of people. So for a person to be like, yo, especially when it comes to like drag and trans people, like if you can go into that situation and not judge people,
Yeah.
I can hang out with you.
Yeah.
I can fucking because like nobody's saying it isn't confusing. Nobody's saying it isn't confusing.
Dude,
People
going to
making that
drag shows is like the funnest shit ever. Sharon
It's
Needle said I
amazing.
have perfect bone structure, and it's still the best compliment
You know what I'm
I've gotten
saying?
to this day.
Like, I mean, the people actually going through those transitions are
kidding.
literally working themselves through their confusion. Like, nobody says you shouldn't be confused, but like, why can't you enjoy it? You can't enjoy. Like, those are some of the most I don't want to say unhinged, but like unreserved people that you're gonna
yeah.
find because like life has been so freaking brutal. Like,
Yeah.
I've been long-winded with my answer, but yeah, I would think that would be a good baseline for me.
What about deal breakers for you?
I don't know. I mean, I think I've always been pretty open-minded, but you know, I think that like privacy is kind of an important thing for me, or just like boundaries in general. Like, I don't want to have a kind of relationship where someone's like looking through my phone, or like there's just like, because it's like, I mean, I understand like if if someone does something, like if you've had someone cheat on you in the past, but I feel like if you're going to the point where you're like sort of creeping on somebody or like kind of watching their every move, like the relationship is dead already.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree.
Now, what if they're like, let me use your phone? Is that different?
That makes me a little nervous.
Because like see in that the hesitation alone, like that would make people be like, are they doing something? Because like me, like, can I use your phone here? Like, like you might not want to look at the internet browser, but
you might find some shit you're not gonna like in there, but like,
just porn, just porn. I mean, you might not want to look at the internet browser, but like, I literally have told you everything else that's in this phone. I mean, go.
Yeah.
You know, so like, I think that's what people are looking for. But at the same time, if your privacy is something to you, like I know some people that like, this is my mother's message to me. I don't want you reading that.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. That's your business. Like, if I say I'm gonna use your phone, I'm not going through your emails at all.
Yeah.
You know, and that shouldn't be something you have to worry about. But yeah, like using your phone. I mean, like, yeah.
Well, you don't have your own phone. I mean, what do you got to use my phone for?
Maybe my phone's dead.
I mean, if you're in a relationship, relationships are long, and you can have that time come up once or twice. Like the phone dies, and you're on an airplane, and like that circumstance has happened to me at least twice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like relationships are fucking long. You know, lots of shit happens. You know, I don't mean to sound facetious or anything.
You're so hyped right now. It's
No,
so
but
funny.
I agree with that sentiment because like I had a buddy say almost the exact same thing to me one time. He's like, this is the thing. He's like, the moment you ever feel like you have to be made to do anything that's not inherently you in a relationship, like you're like, why go there? And so, like, instead, if you're being made to feel like that, then just stop before you even gets to that.
Yeah. Would you say privacy is your biggest deal breaker?
I mean, I think it's the one that comes up like the most, probably.
Yeah.
But it's hard to say. I mean, I haven't been in like that many relationships, but
What do you see as that many?
maybe like 4 or 5.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Long relationship, short?
So all over the board. I haven't been in like a 10-year relationship, but
I mean, not many people have.
Yeah, that's true though.
Why don't we do plugs in a second, and then we can keep going with
You
diving
wanna talk
into the
about this
relationship.
at all?
Yeah, we can after plugs if you want. Why don't you? What do you got to plug, Karizmatik? Do it up.
Yo, as usual, it's your boy, Karizmatik. You can catch me at Karizmatik IPE on Facebook. Karizmatik with 2 Ks, K at the beginning, K at the end. For all y'all that's spelling it with a C still. _ME on IG and Twitter. And you can catch me at Capos on the 24th of February and the 15th of March. 16th of March, and at the Comedy Studio on the 15th, and East Boston on the 1st, and Dark Horse on the 12th. Let's get it. Book me, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So like my Instagram is Marvelous Top Persona. I should probably change that to my name, but and I'm doing McGreevy's tomorrow night.
Good
and,
stuff.
I'm gonna be doing a City Side on the 9th, I think.
City Side is fun. City Side's a lot of fun.
Yeah, shout out.
Word. Shout out on John and my big bro, Sam Ike. Thank y'all, man.
Ani_Moush on Instagram. You can follow my Etsy page. Go to Etsy, it's by Moush or by _Moush on Etsy. And book me, dude. Ready.
Hey, yo, Dom, you got anything to plug, bro?
Yeah. Dirty Dom on fucking no. Dom Panzini on Facebook. I'm trying to fucking do all camera shit back here and everything. It's all good. We got you. Yeah, Dom Panzini on Facebook. DTP_ZF KRISG on Instagram. And now every Wednesday you can catch us at the motherfucking Sammy's Patio Uncensored Open Mic in Revere, Massachusetts, 63 Revere Beach Boulevard. List goes up at 6 shows. No. The list goes up at 7. Show starts at 8. You can come up. You can do anything the fuck you want. You can artificially inseminate yourself on stage.
I wouldn't
you get a
choose to
laugh,
do that.
I really do not care. You know what I'm saying? It's an uncensored mic with some uncensored cats.
Yo, don't bring your feelings.
Don't not bring your feelings. If you do, they're liable to get hurt one way or another. So, yeah. And Karizmatik and I have a project coming up shortly, and more will be released upon that. So that's all I got. Cats and kittens, I love you.
Oh, yeah. Instagram and Twitter, guys. It's Irish O'Neill. Follow me there. STC Podcast, Shit Talking Cunts. We go live every Sunday. Call and talk shit with us. Obviously, shout out to Kingz. We won't give a plug. We're plugging all month long. Rob Crean's album's coming out on February 28th, I believe. Sadly, Sackerton. So check it and get that out. And I think that's...
I got one more. Follow the Kingz Podcast on Instagram, please.
Yeah.
Kingz Podcast. Follow us, and then subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Subscribe, or I'm coming for you.
And pick up my band's album if you want. You know,
Hell yeah.
if you want. Who cares? I don't care.
I got locks.
All right. You want to talk? Wait. Do you want to talk about that first?
All right, yeah. So,
that's hilarious.
I got approached the other day, and I will not state the name, but if you're going to have an opinion about my podcast, our podcast, please watch it first.
Yep.
Have your own opinion. Come to me with your own opinion, please. Do not say I heard. I do not want to hear that when you have eyes. If you can't see, I will explain it to you.
Yeah.
Okay? Please do not come up and say you've heard anything, especially if it's along the lines of talking down to women or anything of the sort. If you have an opinion, I'm happy to discuss it after you have watched and done your homework.
Yeah.
I also just want to be clear that I would not be on this podcast if you were talking down to women.
This is the problem. People gleam the surface level of what I say, and I don't know. For some reason, they internalize it as coming off misogynistic, but yeah, it's not. I mean, literally, how many times have I said it's always the guy's fault? Like, the whole point of this is to help guys and women. We're trying to get people to understand the purpose of this is what we're trying to explain the male perspective when it comes to dating. Yeah. There's plenty of other podcasts out there that if you want the female perspective, the Guys We Fuck podcast, fucking tremendous,
Awesome
really
podcast.
good.
One of my favorite podcasts.
But we're talking about the guy's perspective, and this is a thing it's like a constant problem that comes up. Is it's like people ask. And by people, I mean women. Like women, perfect episode of the kid episode, right? Because there's a point where she goes, what is the male perspective? And then you explain what the male perspective is. And then they go, well, that's wrong. That's not right. And it's like, well, okay, but this is what the perspective is. Like, you can disagree with it 100%. That's fine. But I'm telling you what it is. You can't tell me that our perspective is wrong. Or, I mean, you can morally disagree with it, I guess. But, this is the perspective.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like trying to, and I don't know why this is the way I thought it up, but it's kind of like it's trying to explain to a person how to use their penis if they've never had one. Can you imagine how difficult that'd be? Like, people think a penis is a very easy thing to function.
I try to
why do you think everything ends up wet when we're young?
Ew.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ew.
You learn.
It's confusing.
Like, yeah. It gets pretty. I thought I was there. Now I'm seeing faces and shit. Like,
You're not allowed to have any more juice.
He hasn't even smoked weed. He hasn't even smoked weed. That's crazy.
I know, this is so weird.
Maybe it'll calm me
that'll
down.
even me out. Like,
Jesus Christ.
don't be scared, guys.
Yeah.
It's all right.
No,
I'm curiously afraid.
I think the
Don't
point
be.
of this podcast is to understand that perspective and to be able to talk about it openly and to have constructive conversations. And as a female, I would not be here if I was not going to contribute the female perspective also. So.
Oh, and also, I mean, if you disagree that badly, call in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
There's a
come on.
There's
and,
a number
and
right
talk.
there.
Yeah. Chat. It's fine.
After you've watched a video.
Yeah.
Don't know how many more times I
Hit
can
us
say
up,
that,
kingspodcast@gmail.com. I'll send you links. Don't worry about it.
There you go.
Everything will be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a couple topics related to relationships I'm pretty interested in. Like,
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Tell us. We love prepared material.
I wouldn't say prepared, but
No, they're good.
yeah. So I mean, I think that we live in kind of an interesting era when it comes to dating. Like, I'm specifically interested in the impact that technology has had on relationships. 'Cause,
Totally.
I mean, we, we have Tinder now. I mean, there's sort of this I would say like I don't know what's the word, like there's the appearance of like having like all these different options.
Yeah.
And so that, I think that changes things. I mean, there's like pornography, which is kind of like a new thing. Something that's I think especially relevant to like men. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think that like technology has improved relationships? How do you think it's changed?
I think it's made it easier to access other people, but I think it ultimately hurts things because you have to be you have to think about how many times even remove relationships, but think about how many times you walk in a restaurant and you just see like a table of 4 people and they're not even talking, they're just all on their phones. And it's like you have to be able to fucking communicate. And it's like if you try to talk to like someone that's like 18 now and shit,
Oh God,
it's like
good luck.
You can't have a conversation.
you can't. They don't know how to have a conversation outside of like, what's your number so I can have a conversation through a phone. It's
Honestly,
wild.
I've seen and my sister's at like right at the beginning of Generation Z, and we've had her on the show. Like you can see her.
Great
I've
episode.
had her sit next to her best friend, and they were texting each other, man. I was like, y'all don't want to talk? Like, y'all,
What you doing?
I'll leave the room if that's the problem. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, be human.
For a second, like, is your voice that annoying to yourself? Is that?
Well, I think also with like technology and like, dating apps or whatever, like things get misconstrued and then you kind of lose all of the 3 principles that we constantly talk about. Like it's really hard. Well, it's easy to hide behind a screen and say this, and this about yourself. And then
Very true.
in real life, you might not be the exact same, or you might be like perceived that way and you're not really that person.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like the common conception is that it like creates distance or it makes it harder to like connect with people. But I think it's also like, especially with social media and everything, it makes it harder to like disconnect.
Yeah.
Because it's like you can like I guess before like mobile phones, you wouldn't have the issue of just like like being tempted to like text somebody or like go on your ex's social media. It's like you're constantly connected, and it's hard to like sever ties even when you need to.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard, especially when we're all of us here trying to work in entertainment too. Like, and you're like, I would love to get rid of my social media, but then I might as well stop doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Dude, man.
I was about this close to deleting my Facebook, and then I started comedy, and I was like,
It's only because of podcasts that I have any of it.
I literally didn't have an IG until the end of last year. Like, no.
Yeah, I wish it wasn't that way, but I mean, it is a great tool to like, again, like reach people and like put your message out there and that kind of thing. And like we, I always say like we do our plugs and like all that kind of stuff, and it's helpful in that way, but it has its negative effects too, for sure.
I think at the same time it has positives too, but each
definitely.
positive is equally matched with the negative that
Everything
comes with
in
it.
life's like that, though. Everything's double-sided.
Yeah, give it
Well, true, but I mean, like to the point that like it causes us like real like to the fact that we don't interact really anymore. I can't see any other way you can really spin that one.
Sure.
Well,
But like on the fact that go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. Finish your thought.
But on the one where it's made relationships, it's made it seem like there's so many options out there that either a person chooses to work harder in the relationship or drops it immediately. So like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, I need to stay my best so the person, doesn't find something else that's so easy to find.
Yeah.
Or the person is like, yo, why even try and just continue on?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I also think that's like having all these things like Tinder and stuff. It fosters an environment where, because people are so socially awkward now, people don't go up and like approach people anymore. Like, it's like pulling teeth. Like when we were first starting, there were several people coming up to us being like, what should I do? Like to get a check on. I'm like, well, we were like, have you just tried fucking talking to them? And it's like so many. And it's like this would be crazy. We'd have like guy comics come up to us, and it's like I'd be like, wait, so you're not afraid to bomb in front of a room of 40 people, but you're afraid to walk up to a chick at a bar and bomb in front of her? Like what? That's
fine.
Easier. It's 39 less people you're bombing in front of.
Like, it sounds like women are having different conversations. I can admit it. It sounds like they are. No, they're talking about the same shit.
Yeah.
They really are. In different variations, but yeah, they're talking about the same shit. Y'all talk about sex too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It probably not as bluntly as we do. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they can get quite vulgar, but like, it sounds different.
It's disgusting.
I think women talk about sex more than men do.
Yeah.
Don't ever think that. Don't ever think that. Don't ever think
well,
that.
the
How
reason I say
far
that-
are you willing to go to get sex?
No.
That's how often we. No.
That's not the point that she's making.
I know,
She's saying
but it's
talking about it.
we've talked about it
With
so
each
much
other.
and
It's on our mind constantly.
we obsess about it. That's the only we don't talk
It's a
about
sickness.
shit and sex comes out of our mouth.
It's why we tell guys don't make decisions on full balls.
Yeah.
Because you have to get the fucking evil and poison out.
Like we were discussing this like on the last shoot. It's like literally every 15 fucking minutes. It's it doesn't even take that long for me. Like I have it's constant. Like you meet a person, it's like, would I fuck that? Like you know what I'm saying? Like
Are you gonna
literally.
let our guests talk?
You're right.
Oh, I mean, I'm not saying that like women are like more motivated by sex or whatever, but
Definitely,
I just, in my experience, like I guess women are like more open with their friends about like specific, like sex in their relationships. Like, at least my guy friends, they don't talk in detail about like sexual experiences they've had, like at least when they're in a
Well, not
relationship.
to
Around
you.
you.
Not to you.
Well, yeah, but like also, I mean, I don't know. I mean, do you guys like when you're dating a girl that you really care about? So, like, do you talk like in detail about like the sex that you have?
We might even show
Yeah,
pics.
yeah, absolutely.
We might even show pics. Like
Well,
without the
yeah.
face,
Wait.
but we like we'll go in detail.
I think I see what you're saying though, because sometimes it depends on the guy. 'Cause sometimes they could be a little bit more reserved, or like, oh, my girl's gonna kill me, like if I like tell anybody this or whatever. But I do think that there's a line that gets danced to sometimes.
Which is
No.
hilarious to me because it's kind of like a big J bit where it's just
Yeah,
like
I know what you're
it's like
gonna
what
say.
it's like I'm sorry your girl's gonna kill you, you're a grown ass man. Like, when you talk about your girl's gonna kill you because he was talking about like you ever see those guys that are like, oh, I'd love to come hang out but I gotta go run it by the Sarge. It's like you're a 50-year-old man.
Well, because guaranteed, like the chick's talking about that with her girlfriends, probably. Like whatever it is, that dirty thing that you did, like she's probably already told her best friend, like as soon as it happened. I don't know. That's what I do. with
See,
my
I see. I've heard two things about this. So I've heard girls that refuse to go into any detail because they don't want anybody to take their man. They're like, if they hear this story, someone's gonna fuck my man. You know what I'm saying? Like if I tell them this shit, someone's gonna fuck my man. So they won't
If
say
you're
shit.
afraid that someone's gonna fuck your man, you're not bringing enough to the table.
Or maybe you are. And he's just bringing some real crazy shit too. like
Possible.
I mean, shit. You do something for the first time, you'll be talking about it to everybody.
Yeah. Okay. But I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. I just wouldn't be afraid. If I'm telling it out loud, I'm like, whatever. I'm bringing enough heat that I don't need to worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, no response there.
I don't know. Do you like? What do you think? Do you agree? Do you not agree?
With what specifically?
Like that girls probably will tell their girlfriends just as much as like guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think like guys probably talk about hookups more, like in a casual way, but like at least in like my experience, like if they really care about someone, it's like they don't talk about it as much.
Yeah.
It's like
Whoa.
more, there's like a sort of like they keep it closer to their chest.
Well, I will say this. So, a lot of the guys that I grew up with don't talk about shit. They don't say shit, especially like, and I don't know
You
if
went
this
to
is
Catholic school.
So the
Is that what
Catholic
you're
school
talking about?
kids talk about everything.
Yeah.
Like
Because they're
I
so
was about to be
repressed.
like,
you know what I'm
excuse
saying?
me?
Those aren't the ones I was talking
When you're
about.
that
So, like,
repressed, yeah, they do everything.
my childhood friends, and I don't know if this was because they were African or because they were black, or if it has anything to play into that. But like I never have in-depth like sex conversations with black men. It's just not for any lack of trying. It doesn't often happen. You know what I mean? At some point,
Which is weird because my experience with black guys is we bond over talking about sex.
bro,
and shit.
like I can't get
Like,
one
that's
to
literally
open
like
up.
kind of how you and I became friends. We were
And
talking about Patricia.
And if I do, I literally have to keep the conversation pussy. I can't bring up my ass fetish at all. Have to keep it strictly pussy. Like it's weird. Like there are all these like different groups of guys have like different rules about how they proceed to talk about sex. It's fucking weird.
Except for me and Dom because we're degenerates.
You guys are savages.
Yeah, buddy.
White people
Can
are
I
different.
ask, I guess, a question pertaining to what she said earlier about technology? Do you think that the fact that you can interact with someone who you've never met face to face has like a big impact on, you know, how you are when you first meet someone, like you know, via text or, you know, not face to face, and then, you know, once you meet them in person, it's a different story. Has that been an issue for you at all?
I mean, I don't think I've ever had any like successful relationships where I've like first met the person online. I think it's hard to like establish chemistry when you're just like talking to someone like on
Definitely.
an app or like texting. But on the other hand, it also like you're exposed to people that you wouldn't normally be, and so I think it can like make you more open-minded because
That's like the only perk I really see to it is it's like you can kind of reach people you might not have ever run into.
Yeah.
So like that's attractive to me, but it's like there almost needs to be a better way where it's like, because I like that is the problem. Like there's so much time that gets wasted on like just frivolous dumb conversation in Tinder that or whatever app that it's like this should be
Oh
had
my
when we
God,
fucking meet up.
man.
So it's like there should just be some kind of like safer way to just go like match, cool, pick a location or kind of thing. Like
See, the problem you're having is that Tinder is not Grinder. Like that's the problem
gay dudes
you're
fuck.
having, bro. Literally, it's dick pic, ass pic, where like.
Oh, guys,
hell?
did you forget about FetLife that we put on the other day?
oh yeah, FetLife
Perversity?
is I've been on FetLife since like 2013.
Oh, bro, that's where it's at.
Same. I've been there forever.
Big blue Dom's
I think I was born. In,
I genuinely can't believe that we were the ones to tell you about FetLife,
Yeah.
Dom.
Oh, I
blow
know.
I would have
people's
thought you
minds up with that.
invented FetLife.
Honestly,
Hey.
honestly.
Dom777.
Do you
Hit
know
me
about
up.
FetLife?
I'm familiar with it. Yeah.
Oh, she's familiar with FetLife. Oh crap!
We talked about it on the
it's
podcast.
not really some hidden secret anymore.
No,
Maybe
no, I
like
know,
5
like,
or 7 years ago.
Familiar? Have you ever used it?
I've like been on it, but like not really used it.
Well, you have to sign in to be on it. So like,
yeah.
you
Well,
have to have used
We
it.
just like curious, you know.
Yeah, I mean, everybody gets curious. So you want to be. So see, that's the thing, man. Like, I feel like people like if you can look all you want, but you should have to pay something.
you know what we should
You know what I'm
do?
saying? You should have to pay something to the piper.
It's a window shop.
Yeah, it's a window shop. Like,
You
I mean,
gotta
like
pay to window shop.
there is some shit on that site,
Yeah.
and like there's some you
There's
should
some
have to
shit
put
there.
something into the ether to pull anything from it. You know what I mean? Like you just got to give something, like maybe a tit shot or something, but like no face.
At least a face
Like,
pic.
like they're giving you way more than just a boob shot. Like, you serious? Like you top of the boob or something? Like you can even give them a cheek right here. Like,
I'm sorry if women are more than just boobs to me. They're also ass.
Timestamp. Dom, can you write that down? Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. We need that cut for my credibility.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
On the topic of technology, though, like what impact do you think that like the porn industry has had, or like pornography has had in relationships?
Good
Um,
question.
I think it differs. I think it drastically differs because there are.
yeah, I really think it does
Are you
go kind
talking,
of
like,
like situationally. yeah.
Generally, like everybody, or for men, or for women, or
Either way.
either way.
I mean, there's got to be like trends, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's fun to watch porn with a partner. I
Definitely.
personally like
With, without,
probably
yeah.
about like a year and a half, man, it might be 2 years at this point. I don't really watch porn anymore, and like I've talked about it before, but it's mainly just I was finding that like I would be having sex and I'd be too busy spending time trying to think of dirtier shit to like enjoy it and stay hard
Yeah.
than like actually like be in the moment and enjoy having sex with this person. So I found that like just not watching porn fixed that for me.
See, that's so fast. Like that's fascinating to me because like when I'm watching porn,
I learned that from Dave Smith.
No, but like my kink keeps me completely satisfied. I don't go down any rabbit holes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I have my kink, and that's literally it. Like I hit my kink. Maybe I'll include my kink in something else, but like, yeah, I don't go like.
I just think of or imagine shit if I'm jerking off.
See, like
Yeah.
the only thing that's really added anything, like FetLife has added like, oh yeah, I'll do bondage every once in a while now.
Yeah.
Like so now I'll do my kink with bondage. You know what I'm saying? But like it wasn't the porn that did that. You know what I'm saying? Like
I think, well, I guess I'm a little bit of opposite because I started watching porn like really late, like maybe less than a year ago, maybe, and like not often, but whatever, by myself with a partner, who cares? But it was more of just like to get me to like the level, and then I'm good on my own, like to just get me.
it's your
up.
foreplay.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's
And
fair.
also the reason why I even like started exploring it was
Definitely
just to
sounds
like,
like a feminine approach.
what?
That it was your foreplay.
I guess.
Wait, what's your go-to porn category?
Everybody can guess mine.
I have 3.
Okay, what are they in order?
One, it just depends on what I'm feeling that day, but I like them all equally.
Okay, and they are
Girl on girl, threesomes, and like latex bondage stuff.
nice, solid.
Anyways,
She said latex.
Dom, timestamp that.
but the reason why I even started watching it to begin with was just to like explore my own sexuality. Like, what had I not sort of thought about or like
Yeah.
discovered or whatever.
Yeah, that was similar for me. Like that, it was just
Yeah.
sort of like I used porn as a way to just explore what was out there and like, oh, this is interesting, or but not for me.
And it's not necessarily that like, oh, I see this in porn and like, oh, I definitely want to try this in real life. But like, oh, that's interesting. I never thought about that before. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, like kind of thing.
Or it's fun to watch them do it.
Yes, exactly. It's fun to watch them do it. It's make believe, anyways, right? Like it's a movie, right?
Yes,
so
yes.
like you're watching a
Remind
hot
me,
movie.
voyeurism. That's the thing where you're like watching people fuck, right?
Yeah.
Isn't technically everyone into voyeurism that watches porn? Isn't that
Technically,
just,
yeah.
I
right?
guess, yeah.
That's
But like
technically
voyeur, they take it to the next level. Like then they start going out in public. Like, it's like, oh, watch these people. Like, whatever.
Interesting. Sorry, you were about to say something.
I forget.
Something about a movie or.
No, porn's just like film.
Oh,
How about you?
To what extent does like your porn interest translate to like your real
Wait,
life?
hold on. You didn't answer the question.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, what was the question?
What's your porn?
There you go. He's waiting.
Timestamp.
I mean, I honestly I don't really watch that much porn. But you know,
Actually,
All right.
I'm happy when this topic comes up and there's a female on the podcast because I always want to ask this question. Okay, if you are watching porn, do you go to a specific category or do you just scroll on the homepage?
Well, she just said she doesn't really watch.
No, if you're going to watch, what would you do?
I guess I would like maybe go to like a category. I don't know, or like
That's like
It's
saying
a female thing.
That's like saying if you see
Yeah.
a horse, what would you do?
Yeah,
Like
No,
this,
because
like,
how many
touch
times
it,
have we
like-
talked to
here's
other
what I
guys and
do.
they're like, "Well, I just scroll on the
Listen,
homepage."
Yeah, I
feel
scroll
like-
on the homepage for like a page or two,
No, I
and if
never
I
said
don't
I
see
scroll.
any,
I
and
never
if I don't
scroll.
see
I didn't say
anything
you, I
that
said
grabs me, then
other
I'll go to a
guests.
category.
Well, and I
always
feel
go
like
to
especially
category.
like the mainstream porn websites, like most of the content is like geared towards like men.
Yeah, that's why I like go
Definitely.
to more like have you ever heard of Bellisa?
No, I don't think so.
They're like it's like female directors, and so it's like a little bit. The site even is geared a little bit more towards like women.
Yeah,
Well,
I
like-
don't really like porn for women though, because it's like
But it's
Am
not.
I-
You
oh,
wouldn't.
am I under
you
hair?
wouldn't. You
Am I under
can't.
hair?
No, you can't. It's not. It's not like gentle shit. It's like it's
look
just
into
the
my
way
eyes.
that it looks is like much
Oh
more
my God, is that a new
curated
concealer?
yeah.
than like your
you
average
lose weight
like
today?
Pornhub, whatever.
You're
Yeah.
a strong, empowered woman.
I
It's
see.
not like
I
that.
see a lot more builds. Like I just
Yeah.
like you said female director. I just see I see
Yeah.
it all build. Just like 90% of the shit is build. And
I'll
then you
do
get, like,
research
10.
and get back to you on the next
it's a
one.
little bit too much plot for me.
Yeah, just get to the
Yeah.
fucking. We all know what
Well,
you're here
I
to
don't.
do.
I'm not down for like the long.
I mean, I like a
porns.
little bit of a story, but like, come on,
No.
get to it.
Yeah,
I
a little bit of
skip,
story
I
is good.
skip.
Just a little
Like,
bit.
you can't
No, I
just be like,
skip.
hey, dick. Like,
If
I
you
mean,
wanna know-
I guess
this
it
is a
can,
King's
but
it's also
Exclusive.
it's like too well lit, you know.
it's got to feel authentic.
Not if you're watching like
I gotta
latex
believe
bondage porn.
that
It's
the,
not
the,
that
the, the
well.
camera
talking
I'm
over
just
each other.
yeah, I gotta believe that the camera is just like a fly on the wall, and like it's not really a person filming.
Yo, I like that. I like, especially when like, yo, this is how much porn I watch. I start judging the cameraman on his skills. So like, if he's shaking at all, I have to end it. And I disapprove completely ruined my orgasm. Like fuck, like you can't shake at all.
None of that on
No-
the porn
no
site that I use.
No shake. Exactly. Women understand this shit. Women understand.
Yeah.
I want like amateur, but it's got to be professionally done. But
Yes.
feel amateur still.
I'm gonna do some research.
It's
and
like
then I'm gonna
Paranormal Activity.
Send it in our group chat.
But
what was
that's
I gonna
hilarious.
say? You guys are gonna laugh at me, but the reason, like the thing that like inched me into porn without watching like the whole plot line and everything. Have you ever looked up sex gifs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how.
Like GIFs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Tumblr, like, dude, Tumblr
Yeah,
used to be
it's literally just
phenomenal.
like-
it appeals to the short attention span of the millennials.
Yeah, that's all I need though. Like really.
or quick comers.
Quick comers?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't need to
question?
People
see
that
the
come
co-
quickly,
I
gifts
don't need to
happen in like 2-3 seconds.
Don't
I
need.
don't
To,
know.
No, I get the joke. It was just
That was
wrong.
bad.
It was just wrong.
I know.
that was bad.
Come
Hey,
quick. I don't
know.
We were all excited sharing
Hey.
resources.
Yeah, man.
I
you just
shoot
wanna
1 for 10, but when that one hits, it's great.
I
don't
mean,
know.
nah, it sounded
We're
like
on,
you were talking
7.
from experience there, bro.
Nah.
The hell you mean? You just gonna throw that in the water and make sure it then just be like, yo, does it float? Let me know,
Yeah,
motherfucker.
because you've never come quickly in your entire life.
Oh, bro, you gonna try and get at me for a story I told you, motherfucker?
Do you feel
Every
like
guy
man.
has.
Do you
oh
feel
my
like-
god.
Dog.
Wait.
What's
Oh,
the quickest
It's
you've
happened
dog,
once.
whoa, whoa.
It happened once.
it's because in your 30s,
Fine.
in your 30s, not when you were in your 20s.
Last year. It happened once last year, and
bro,
I had
yeah.
it happen in years.
How old are you?
I'm 29. No, like it was literally the ultimate whirlwind of like
Hey.
kinks. It was just like it was like
sometimes you get lost in the ecstasy. Whatever.
it's like have you
Are you
ever
kidding?
have you
the
ever
whole
had
time we're fighting it. We're like, "Ugh." I'm like, look straight ahead.
no.
I need to put like earplugs in. It's like, don't make a sound. If you make a single sound, it's over. I
Have
just
you ever
gotta
had-
focus on my breathing.
There's so many
have you
times
ever
on this
had-
podcast.
have you ever been with like one half naked chick and then like been barged in by another half naked chick?
No.
Have you? I can't say that. I
The
have.
the level
I
of
wish.
surprise
Is
and
that an
turn
answer?
on.
I take it back. Women's locker room. Yes.
Oh wow.
Just kidding.
And you did nut instantly? Like, I was the shock and surprise all at the same time. Like I was, yeah, we do just get a stupid face, man. That's
y'all
it.
are
Y'all
dumb.
get whole like.
I've been hooking up with a girl before and then had her boyfriend come in.
Nice.
There you go. How was that?
Good
How
or
was that?
good or bad reaction from
It
guy.
was it was bad.
It was bad.
What?
Oh
Oh, tell
No,
us that
okay.
story,
I'll tell you why
please.
it's bad. I'll tell you why it's bad.
Can I
That
just
bitch
say
was being greedy. She didn't share. She
Whoa,
didn't
whoa,
share.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Whoa.
This is a
Let her
relationship.
talk.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I want to hear the story.
No, she
I
right.
really
She
do.
right.
Hang
Let's
on.
let her finish. Let her
Yeah. Like, wait. So you're hooking up with chick. Boyfriend barges in. Go. What's his reaction?
Well, I mean, he was just like, I mean, it was, we didn't have like a fight or anything. But it
No,
was
no,
just
but
like,
look, first words out of his mouth. What does he say?
oh God, I don't remember. This was like,
Rough ballpark. it.
You don't remember? Oh my god, I'm so disappointed in you.
Let her talk.
That
Let her
means
talk. Let
that
her
means
talk.
she has better stories too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember. I mean, like,
Was he like, what the fuck? Or can I join? Like, which?
oh
Which
no,
sway
it
did he sway?
wasn't. It wasn't like porn logic. I mean,
Okay.
it was just like yeah,
Yeah.
I guess like what the
Okay.
fuck, or
Okay.
like, I mean, I left shortly after. But
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm surprised shortly after, not immediately.
That story upset me so much. But I want you to know how much I've grown. You know how when I first heard that he had a poor reaction to coming in the room, I felt the F word come up and I repressed it.
I'm real proud of you.
I mean, I can see many reasons.
What is fucking wrong with that guy? Are you kidding me? The
He wasn't-
only reaction.
First off, he wasn't expecting it. Second off,
He doesn't have
wasn't-
enough dick for two
He
women.
wasn't part of it. Third, she was being greedy.
how does he know?
Fourth,
Whoa. How does he know he's not part of it if he starts out with bad?
did anybody invite me?
Why don't we ask the guests?
He got home. Maybe he got home from work. Maybe he didn't know he was. Maybe it's an. I don't need to
Was
be.
it was
do you
it
know how
that
th-
he didn't
if it's a
have
surprise,
any
it's still
idea
fun.
kind of situation
Was
that
it
it could
on-
ever happen?
yeah, I mean, I think some guys like they still get jealous, even like
Yeah.
regardless of like the gender of the other person, because it's like they're not the one that's getting like the attention.
But wait. So was it ever on the table possibly that he was gonna get included or?
Bro, if they're doing it by themselves, it's
I'm
a
just-
no.
whoa, 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 I'm
Let
I'm just-
her talk.
It's a no.
Let her talk.
It's a no.
Are you gonna let her talk?
It's a no.
Well, it's like
I hope she says yes just to
I
spite
know.
you.
I know. Goddamn. I'm open
It's-
for it.
it's a
well,
no.
it's like. I mean, I wasn't interested. So
Thank you.
So
okay.
for me,
Okay.
but
So then it's a no. Okay. Fair.
Because
Fair.
like you speak girl better than me.
No,
like,
no,
like,
no.
like-
It wasn't even that.
I just wanted
You
to
just
confirm
what
it.
the
Like, I just wanted
motherfucker,
to-
that's
I
all.
didn't- I don't doubt you. I just wanted to confirm it.
like
Jesus.
mother- this is the
Guests
thing.
gotta
This is
be
the thing.
respectful.
This is the thing. This is the thing.
Be
This is the thing.
respectful.
Patrice is in
But
his soul tonight,
I
and
know,
so I'm being
goddamn.
well,
charismatic.
it's just because I mean I've never really been interested in like threesomes. Like for me, I need to be with one person at a time. But
I
you
hear
know,
that
not,
very
not
often from
everybody's like
ladies.
that.
Yeah.
Especially it like literally, and ladies are greediest when it comes to pussy. They'll share some dick. They will not share some pussy.
It's crazy.
It's fucking weird. It's fucking weird. She's thinking about it. Yeah, no, they won't share pussy, and that's why I said I knew this from
That's
the
greedy.
jump.
Yeah.
Anytime I've ever seen a situation where like they weren't working as a team to bring the girl in, the girl wants it for
And
herself.
and then you know what sometimes happen too is like they'll be okay with dick but not pussy, and then they'll do like they'll go like, oh, but like I don't need to do the threesome thing. You're like, okay, well like maybe I still want to be able to like fuck you and another chick. So like I'm glad you're deciding for both of us. Like, oh, I don't need the thing that I can get because I'm saying you can have that, but like it's like okay, that's a little unfair.
Well,
Like-
it's also kind of a weird situation because it's like one thing if you like plan to have a threesome. It's another thing if someone like walks in while
Yeah.
you're like hooking up with another person.
Fair point too.
Yeah.
No.
Like a stranger, you know what I mean?
I'm just I was only asking that question because I was just trying to justify that.
She had said it from the jump.
Yeah.
Stop using porn logic. Like that's all porn logic.
I'm just verifying.
Can
I'm
I
trying
ask-
to make sure there's not a shadow
Can I
of a
ask her
doubt.
something? Can I ask the guest something? when
I don't want motherfuckers to question us.
were you aware of her having a boyfriend, or were you like a home wrecker in the situation?
Out of those two options, I guess I was like a home wrecker, but I didn't know it was gonna happen.
Wow.
Wait,
Like, I
did
didn't
she say
plan.
that she had a boyfriend?
I-
Maybe it came up, but maybe not.
yeah, I mean, I think she mentioned it.
It was
like,
probably
Saying.
it clearly wasn't clear enough where you were like you were surprised by the fact that like, oh shit, a guy came in.
Well,
like,
yeah. I mean, I didn't even, but like she did. I think it was a situation where she didn't even realize that she was like bisexual. Like it was like something that kind of just like
You
You
happened.
sprung her? You sprung her?
Oh, nice.
You
All right.
sprung
So
this
I think we were
girl?
both surprised.
Wait, you guys both didn't know this was gonna happen.
No, not really.
Oh.
So yeah, it was impossible that he was gonna get some. They're exploring, and he's
Yep.
no, fuck
Facts.
that.
Okay.
And I already thought it was impossible. Now it became
Yeah.
impossible.
No, it's confirmed. It's confirmed. So I can see why he was unreasonable. Then I take it back.
Yeah, dumb.
Bro, like he had no play in that. If at any point she had told him that she was curious about this and it might happen at some point, like, cool. He walks in and be like, really? I plan on watching
I was just
my
making
movies.
I was just confirming, making sure that there was no possibility that he was going to get in on the action. If that's the case, I'm like, okay, it makes sense. But yeah. Oh God, you're fucking up, bud. What's up?
Yeah, I'm messing up. I'm messing up.
Fucking up.
But you had a follow-up question about how much do you think porn plays into your sex life or something?
Oh,
like
it was
that?
how much our porn preferences tessellate to our or translate to
because
our.
I think for like some people, it's like they totally compartmentalize that part of their lives. Like you'll have like some people that are like, I don't know, like into like BBWs or whatever, but
Yeah.
then like they end up dating someone who's like a completely the opposite of the type that they like in porn.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
I don't know if that like translates to
Well,
everyone.
I've
I
heard
mean-
that more from men than from women.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd say on a surface level, it's like if you're dating a certain type of chick, I feel like you inherently want different than. I mean, and not necessarily every time, I guess, but I feel like you probably want something different than what you're steadily getting.
Well, there's
Not
that.
necessarily saying you're dating a skinny chick, so like, oh no, I'm gonna go fuck a fat chick, but you know what I mean? Like, you probably don't want like the exact
You're
archetype
looking for
you're with.
something new.
Like the purpose of going out and getting like, for lack of a better term, like frivolous pussy or frivolous dick is like I would think that like, I'm a pretty like skinny dude for the most part. I would think that like if a chick wanted to go get another dude, they'd get like some just fucking like meathead gorilla motherfucker, just like tear
I
him
have a
up.
slightly different approach on this one. I believe that like, all right, so out of all the body types that you would have sex with, very people end up with the perfect skew
Sure.
of or the perfect person that they would fuck.
Fair.
Porn star fuck.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not your ideal, but like, I mean, the person's your ideal, but the physical isn't your ideal. But yeah, I mean, human beings, we work with each other. Nobody's perfect.
Fair.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
if you have the opportunity to look up perfect, why wouldn't you?
I think about that question in a different way. So, like, for instance, if I'm thinking about like my porn preferences, like, I'm not interested in like girl on girl usually, but like I would think that I'd be more interested in like something like latex or bondage related. So it kind of like depends. I'm not really looking at like the porn star. I'm looking at the content.
I mean, I do think that more often than not, my porn preferences translate.
See, like mine is this, like my kink, like it really does control that whole thing. So
Yeah.
like I literally, as long as it
As
involves
long as
like
the ass is related.
you know what I'm saying? Like I am not offended by gay porn. You know what I mean? It's not my choice of what to go to, but I'm not offended by it at all. It's ass. It's literally ass porn, and like I like ass porn, so like I'm not offended by it. Is there an extra dick there? Yeah, cool, whatever. Extra party, woo! Like, but like it's ass porn. It's whatever. Like, would I prefer to see a female? Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah.
I guess this is like. Guess that's where I'm at right now.
So
I don't
yes,
know.
the answer is yes. It translates for you.
For me, well, because there's a two, because that's strictly on kink.
Yeah.
So like, why don't I watch gay porn? Because I mean, the body doesn't translate. You know what I'm saying? So like, not all of it translate at all times, and sometimes you have a different like, yeah, pizza may be your favorite food, but like tomorrow you don't want pizza if you had it
Damn, I
today.
want
Also,
pizza.
you know what I'm saying? There's
I
that as well,
didn't eat
just the
before this
variance.
podcast, now I want pizza.
But
So you've never been attracted to a man.
I've found some very effeminate men vaguely attractive, but once I can tell that like once I see
What do you-
male qualities, no.
What do you mean, like attractive in a sexual sense, or just find them attractive?
I think like in a sexual sense.
Yeah, that's what I thought she was.
In a sexual sense, no. I can in a non-sexual sense, I can identify when a guy's an attractive man.
What is it? Is it like masculinity in general that is
It's a
like
huge turn
sexually
off.
unattractive?
Yeah.
What about like masculinity in a woman?
Equally, I think
Because
it's
you
hideous.
feel like
I think it's hideous.
you want to
I
be
don't
the
like it.
dominant
It
person.
It has nothing about feeling. I
It's-
just don't. I don't like. It's not attractive to me. It's not something that pulls me next to you. Like
What-
Yeah.
a guy that's trying to be too masculine, I don't hang out with him.
Because you're like the dominator. That's part of
Yeah,
your
like-
like spiel.
I like literally like not even like well, I don't want to call it a spiel, but yeah, I
Fine,
mean like
for lack of a
even
better
in high
word.
school I hung out with women because I found guys too confrontational. Like I'm a huge guy and like I don't want to be in a constant dick swinging contest. Really?
So even like masculine personality traits are a turnoff in a woman, you would say.
I mean,
more often than not, yeah.
like
for
what
me.
what traits? Like
so
asking
like I'm talking
everybody, I
like
guess.
so like I would have to say hyper masculine traits. You know what I'm saying?
Such
Like
as what?
overly competitive. Like not everything's a competition. You know
Trying
what I'm
to be
saying?
too much like one of the guys.
You got to beat me at everything. You got to
You're
one
tr-
up everything.
You're
You
trying to
gotta-
lead the relationship.
like that. Those are typically seen as masculine traits, and those are the ones that I can't work with. But a guy that knows what he wants and is sure of himself or something like that, like those are equally seen as masculine traits. That's fine.
Yeah.
You know. So I mean
So there's the negative part of masculinity that you're
that
not
I
about.
don't like
you
at
could
all.
say
The
same thing about
bravado and all that.
femininity.
But those ones I can deal with with a lot better grace. They don't offend me. I can see them
I
as
see.
wrong, but they don't offend me.
Okay.
Okay. And I would say with masculinity in a chick, I mean, it would depend on the level of masculinity. I mean, as long as they still had like a feminine shape and like look to them, that's fine if they have like slightly masculine qualities. But like, I don't know, it kind of would be like case by case for me.
And
I
like
guess.
just to push yours to the next level, like I'm just as attracted to trans women as I am to women. You know what I mean? So like that's taking your femininity to the, you know what I'm saying? Like that's
Pushing the boundary.
That's basically pushing the boundary. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's a person that was born male pushing femininity all the way to the maximum. So like that's me putting it. So like if you were to go all the way on the opposite side, I find that absolutely repulsive.
I don't know if like being attracted to trans women necessarily is a sign that like
It's femininity. That's the point that I was making on
Right.
that. So like it's on like I'm just doing it as far as the femininity scale goes. Like they're people that go from one side of the, well, I see what you're saying.
What about like well I guess like people define masculinity differently. You know, it's like sometimes people say like confidence is like a masculine thing. Like what about like confidence in women?
No. I definitely like confidence.
Yeah.
See, and a lot of I find this very. So I once had a woman come up to me. She's like, "Do you like aggressive women?" And I think that's what she saw as confidence. No, I like assertive women.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
What's the difference? An aggressive woman is literally. She's
I don't want to have
In
to
your
fucking.
face.
I don't want to have to fucking battle you.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a battle for you to know
Why
what
are you
want.
battling me?
You can
We're
know what-
together. We're on the same team. You should never be fucking battling me.
You can
Why-
know what you
I
want
should-
without
yeah.
it being a fight.
But
you
also
know what I'm
like
saying?
aggressive in their like approach, like if they're hitting on you or something like that, I would imagine like for you two specifically, that would be a turn off.
Yeah. Like if you don't like something and you choose to
Wait. Define what an aggressive woman hitting on me would be. Give me an example.
Somebody that is
I'm a
But-
man at a bar. You're an aggressive woman. Come up and hit on me.
I wasn't gonna use that.
Okay,
I
but
was
then
gonna use
just-
an example that we use all the time. If
Okay.
somebody's hitting you up and continuously asking you to like hang out or whatever, and you're not like about it because they're not necessarily.
Well, that sounds
confident,
like
they're
pretty
just
Is
being
that aggressive? I mean, okay.
aggressive would be like 3 texts in a day. Assertive would be like
like continuously
gonna
over
keep
and
doing
over
this?
again.
Well, it sounds like you're just defining like clinginess.
See, no, I was gonna go a different way with
Okay,
my
that's fair.
definition.
Yeah,
I was gonna go a different way with my definition.
Okay. Hit me with
So aggressive, I would put as like, all right, the guy cheated on you, right? You know you're gonna break up with the guy, but you smash up his car first. That's aggressive. Assertive is like, this is done. This is done as of now, and I'm out of here.
Yeah.
You made your decision and you came to terms with it. You don't need this emotional.
I was just gonna
like-
say assertiveness doesn't have the emotional element to it.
Yeah.
Aggressive.
Let me finish. 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 Let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish.
Finish.
I always be saving that in the bag. When someone does something annoying to me, I'll be like, all right, cool, put it in the bag. I got you. I'm playing with you, honey. I love you, dog. I love you. I love you.
He knows the daggers. All right, go on.
So like, no, like that would be it. Like it's I don't need. I'm a very large man. If I have to control myself, I expect you guys around me equally to control yourselves well. You know what I'm saying? This is a large body control. I think.
Yeah. I will never get in a fight if you start a fight with another person. Like I've had this happen before on a date, right? And I don't even fucking remember what started it, but we were like outside leaving a place, and some dude like said something, and then like the chick I was with did I don't know what it was, but it was something like where it was just like let's just keep walking, and she started like going off and jawing at him and like basically starting a fight with the dude. I just kept fucking walking, and then eventually she noticed I wasn't next to her, and then she came running up and she was like, whoa, where'd you go? Like what would you have done? I'm sorry, what would I have done if he knocked you the fuck out? I'm like, wait, so I got to get in a fight because you're running your mouth. If you're so bad, handle your business. I'm not going to. Now, if someone picks a fight with you, of course I'm going to fucking fight them and defend your honor. But if you start a fight, you handle your business. I don't expect you to get in a fight that I pick. So
Right.
don't fucking expect me to get in a fight that you pick.
That one gel a little bit more.
Huh?
That definition gel a little bit more. Like.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that like someone smashing up your car is a universally unattractive trait.
No, true, and it's equal. That's an equal.
Actually, that's my
easy-
kink. So guys, don't kink shame me.
I mean, but how many? Do you know what? I know many people that have stayed in those relationships. You know what I'm saying? And like, no, like, and that like I use that because that's an extreme example, and like it makes it obvious. Like, you don't need the emotional outburst to say what you want. You know what I mean? And I think that like that's the difference between assertive and aggressive. You can always.
Assertiveness is hot.
It is. It is. What do you want to do today? Oh, I want to do this. Oh, word, cool.
Yeah.
Or if
Cool,
she doesn't
or I
know,
don't
she
wanna
doesn't
do
know.
that,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Or you don't know. But like, you're not there. Like, what do you want to do? Like, no. Have opinions. Be a person. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Have social intelligence.
yeah. Like, I'm respecting you for being. I'm expecting you to be a person.
Be honest. Have confidence.
Have the ability to be your own person still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, going back to like deal breakers in relationships, what about do you like factor in someone's like opinions at all when you're dating them? Like let's say like politics or like to what extent do they have to have like the same like perspective in life?
See, because
How serious am I with this person?
Well, let's say that you're like in a committed relationship or you're considering it.
I wouldn't even get to that point if I didn't think that we could, even if we disagreed, we could equally talk and respect each other's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, certain things.
see with people in my life, I've never talked about along the lines of parties. We've only just discussed ideas. So like usually I pick the person for their idea, and I never end up knowing what party they belong to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't really give a shit about politics in general. My mom and stepdad are both pretty hardcore liberal. My dad and stepmom are pretty hardcore conservative. So like, neither side has done anything for me ever. So I just don't
Yeah,
really
me
care
either.
at this point.
I can't date a heavily religious person though.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I
I don't
would
think it
agree
has
with
to
that.
be like.
That's my one bugaboo.
Politics was just an example, but I mean, I just like ideology in general. Like religion, I think is a good example.
Yeah.
Well, what about like if you disagreed on like the belief in God or whatever?
I don't know if
I don't know how
if my
far
girlfriend
you'd
believes in
get in
God.
that relationship if you kept disagreeing.
Here's the thing.
on it.
I don't believe in that shit. So it's like if that's not a deal breaker for you, and you don't expect me to ever have to go to whatever rituals or bullshit that you are required of me, like as long as you like, hey, you go do your. If you need to go to church on Sunday, you go do your shit. Don't inject that into my life. I don't really want crosses and shit hanging around my house and shit. So if you're cool with all that, great. If not, it's probably not a good match.
As I said, I mean, if they're not overly religious, it shouldn't matter anyways, because I mean, they're not going to be dragging me to church or anything like
Yeah.
that. They're not going to be pushing it in my face. So like, it shouldn't really come
Maybe
up.
maybe
right? 'Cause
have
I won't bring it
have a
up.
secondary option because I probably won't be in whatever heaven you perceive to be there. if
You
die.
know, like that is one thing I'll say to you. Like, you know, this is death do us part. Then, like, like according to you, this is death do us part. I can do whatever I want after the fact. So
Hopefully the afterlife has a tender.
you know, like, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna keep poking that at you, but like, it is your beliefs. But like,
Thank you.
That's what we have a producer for, okay?
I mean, how about you? How much does religion play in? Are you religious or?
I mean, I'm not religious. I mean, I was like, I went to church when I was growing up because my parents made me. But I don't know. It's like, I think I would like to. I want to have like respect for someone intellectually and think that they're like an intelligent person. And I'd love to be able, I enjoy debate. I like arguing with people. You know, I'd love to have like conversations with somebody I'm dating. Like, I don't know. I mean, for me, respect is a pretty big part of attraction. And so I don't know. I don't think I could date like an anti-vax or you know, something like that. I mean, that's an extreme example, but
No, I feel that. Like when it starts getting fucking crazy, it's like, all right, asshole, ease up.
No, like I literally, so like, remember you guys, I was having this little like fucking, it wasn't even a panic attack. It was more like I was just going off because some asshole in Boston came into my place of work with some highly contagious disease or something. So much so that anybody that worked on that shift for 2 hours.
Is this you revealing that we all now have coronavirus?
No, but like this, like just think about how crazy this shit could have gotten. So this person was in the store for like 10 minutes. Now anybody that had been in the area for 2 hours has to get tested. By Massachusetts mandates you come up with your vaccination report, and if you don't have one, they make you go get the vaccination on the spot. So that means anybody that was in that store, including the employees, and then anybody that I would have had to like, I didn't know about this on that day. I found out 2 days later. So that means anybody I came into contact, I went out and did mics. I went all over the town. I was walking everywhere. Like, think about this shit. Think about this.
If you're some Bond villain trying to spread a disease, the key to spreading it, open micer.
Yo, honestly, like just think about this shit. And this started from one person, and this was a college age person. That means 3 people made the decision not to vaccinate this motherfucker. That could have cost many people their lives.
I know, dude. Do you know how bad it would have looked for me if you died? There would have been 2 black hosts that left a podcast.
Bro, and then you would have had to worry about dying too.
I know.
The KKK would have sent you recruitment papers instantly.
They'd be like, I don't know what you're doing, but fucking keep it up.
They're like,
With
you.
like the
Then
long hair and
they're like,
shit.
first we got you, then we're gonna get Zimmerman.
God damn.
Dude. No, they never get him. That's a Jewish last name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't touch him.
No.
And he looks Hispanic. Isn't he Hispanic? That guy's just confusing.
He's confusing. I don't know.
Hates black people, looks Hispanic.
Do you think he fucks?
No. No. You have to have respect.
Hot
You have to
no.
have respect on your face for women to fuck you, or some money in your pocket. I don't think he has money either.
No.
Yeah, because you
That's
can always pay a hooker. That's always the sad part of life.
I mean, let's be honest. Someone that's like caught up being a neighborhood watch person is like pretty unfuckable.
Bro,
Might be
everybody,
the most unfuckable profession.
everyone
Bobby?
has money. Everyone has money, and as long as you have money, you can pay for
I
sex.
don't know. That would be one of my deal breakers if a woman was like, "I'm very passionate about being neighborhood watch." I'd be like, "You made my boy pussy dry."
Your asshole got dry?
Oh wait, yeah.
You should probably get some Vaseline. Moisten that right
So
up.
chappy.
I'm like, oh yeah, that doesn't work that direction. It's like there's lady dick, but that doesn't.
I told you he doesn't fuck.
Bro, man.
I don't know how sex works. Sorry, now I'm ripping off Austin McCloud's material.
A little spit goes a long way.
Oh boy, does it. I'm sorry, we make you uncomfortable.
Oh no.
Do you feel like in the relationships you've been in, do you feel like you typically lead the relationship or the guy does?
I would say that I lead the relationship.
Irish is gonna like this one. All right, Irish, go ahead.
Do you?
It took you an hour to ask that question.
At least in the beginning. Like I think in every relationship I've had, I've approached like the person I was dating.
What do you think you're looking for when you go into a relationship? What dynamic?
I don't know for sure. I mean, I think like equality is like pretty important to me. You know, like I don't. I try to like keep double standards out.
Do you believe there is anything? So like, I don't believe in inequality in a relationship.
Yeah. Do you believe in a 50-50 relationship?
I mean, I think it's like an ideal that I try and strive towards.
I think that's an impossible ideal already from the get-go, because someone had to approach someone else, right?
Sure, yeah.
Instantly making that person the chaser and the other person being chased, right?
Well, I mean, I've had most of the relationships where I had the dynamic shifts. Like it's like sometimes I'll be chasing the other person. Sometimes like the power dynamic will flip.
Flip never hits equal.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I don't think it's possible.
Because
for
can
it
it
to
really
be totally
flip
equal.
when you're the one that
Exactly,
has
right
it
there.
first and then relinquishes it?
No, she just said
Oh,
she said it can't never be completely equal. It can't be, because there's always a chaser. There's always a chaser, basically, And that's what makes it, because so it's I mean, the best I think it could get is like 40-60, and then it flips once, then maybe the other way, and then it goes back, and then maybe someone holds all the cards one time. And
well, and because that's the thing, it's like nothing in the world moves forward when things are 50-50.
Ever.
Like, there has to be some sort of imbalance for it to like go one way or the other.
Well, I mean that in terms of like, like, is it reciprocal? Are we reaching out like kind of the same amount? Like, am I paying for my half of things?
Well, even that, are we reaching out the equal amount? I don't need to be reached out to that much.
Yeah.
Like I really don't care for it, but like I understand that others might.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I might do it, but like I really don't need it back. It might actually annoy me if you do it back. So like that won't be equal.
Well, everybody, is different. Like I
No,
think they have
exactly.
like different preferences.
Yeah. So like that's why like I think people push this equal thing too much without like, it's like, what does equal actually mean? Because if you actually hold all these things up to like stick all these up to the wall, like it doesn't pan out equal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it will never pan out equal because people aren't equal. People don't need equal things. People like at all points. And like when I say people is equal, I'm not judging the value of a life. No, I see even plant life as equal to all. Like all life is equal. All life is sacred. But like nobody's equal.
Mm-hmm.
We're not born equal. We're not like.
Yeah.
So like how can it can never be 50-50. And just to like even say even like nah.
We
like,
should all be respectful and treat each other well, but
Yeah.
like, it's like nothing can ever be exactly equal.
I identify that I'm usually the chaser. I mean, society may have put it that way. Maybe my own personality put it that way, but I'm usually the chaser.
Yeah.
So always at a disadvantage.
Cool.
I mean, how about you?
What do you mean?
50-50? Oh, yeah.
It's not 50-50. It's not 50-50.
That's fair.
I'm too tired to lead.
No,
I
she's
got
been
too
doing a
much-
great job of leading,
No,
honestly.
I mean, like in a relationship, like I have too much fucking going on. Like, someone else take it, and I'll, whatever. But that you have to be a good communicator, with somebody who you're trusting to lead.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Otherwise, it's gonna be fucked.
The person has to feel taken care of for you to lead them. They
Yeah.
do. They have to trust you. And for that, you need to have all their, well, not all, but at least most of their needs or wants in check.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't consider myself like a dominant person, but I think sometimes it is a little bit of a turn off if somebody like approaches me first.
Interesting.
So then, I mean, that kind of speaks to dominance a little bit.
I mean, I guess I'm dominant in like certain aspects of my life, but I wouldn't say like across the board.
That's fair. No, I mean, I don't think anybody is across the board either, because I mean, the CEOs of like Fortune 500 companies are always the ones, getting pegged or or like.
Having the dominatrixes
Has a guy
in
ever
their office.
successfully approached you?
I don't think so.
So is it possible that just maybe all the guys that have tried to approach you just do it really dumb and shitty?
Yeah, maybe it's just theoretically possible. I'm not like opposed to being approached. It just hasn't happened.
Yeah. I would say even the first time that I was on this podcast, you guys asked me the same question, and I would say that most of the times it's like a stupid way of approaching.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Like weren't you the one that was telling a story about like you're at a concert and the guy was trying to communicate with you by like typing out on the phone and holding it up to you, and it's like,
what are you doing?
What's wrong with you,
What are you
fucking
doing?
you
Go
awkward
home.
fuckface
Go
weirdo?
home. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, but like two just two girls down, there's a girl that thinks that's cute.
Well, and this is
And
the
that's
thing.
the hard part.
Like kind of circling back, like I think it kind of plays into technology a little bit, like technology in the times we're in, where it's like I think guys now are so a combination of they're socially awkward more often than not, like from just being able to like, oh, let me only interact with a chick via text, which I mean it's way different talking versus via text.
Yeah.
So that's why you see all these fucking awkward weirdos, especially when they do try to approach chicks. It's a combination of that. And guys are just genuinely, I think, like now afraid to approach women.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's kind of like done this weird shift where it's like now women are like almost like have to be the ones that approach, and that's not really like how it's on a nature
Or
level supposed to be.
approachable.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So but it's just very weird because then you just see all these like awkward guys like that don't know how to like talk to her. They're just kind of like waiting around like hoping that a chick finds them attractive enough to approach them, but it's not like how it typically goes. So you have to have like a very like assertive chick that goes and does that, but then it's like I don't know, personally I don't think that like I think that that's setting it up for failure, because I don't think women can lead the relationship and it work out more often than not.
Why do you think that is?
Because on a nature level, y'all don't need to lead and don't necessarily want to lead.
Well, what do you define as like leading?
Running a relationship, making the major decisions, deciding the direction it should go. Because this is the thing, women, more often than not, women you guys allow your emotions to get in the way.
Mm-hmm.
Guys are it's easier for us to remove emotion and just be logical about it.
But you're also not saying that in that instance that the female is not part of that decision. You're
Right.
not solely making that decision as a man alone.
Right. It's not like, shut up, dumb bitch, you know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. We can, like, listen to what you're saying, but ultimately, like, we're making a decision, and you're trusting that, like, it's like you're with us. I haven't led you wrong thus far, so, like, you're trusting me to lead. Let me run shit.
I respectfully disagree with that. I don't know. I just I personally don't think that like men are
Go for it.
less emotional than women.
Yeah.
Oh, go for it. I think many women
disagree.
have been waiting for you to fight this fight.
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
Wait, you think
I've been waiting?
you don't think that women are more emotional than men?
Yeah, no, I don't think that. I think they're it's about equal. I mean, I know you guys hate that word, but
I mean,
No, not hate
I
that
disagree.
word.
I don't hate that word, but I do disagree with that.
well,
statement.
I think that that the way they express emotion is different, and like the emotions that they express are different. Like men are
I agree with that.
like more frequently will like express like anger, like whereas women, you know, are like it's more like maybe like sadness. It like manifests in a different way, but I think that yeah, I mean it's about equal.
Remember that episode I asked you the question, like, have you ever just like, because a woman once said to me, she's like, you never have days where you just feel like crying?
yeah.
And she said, yeah. And we're like, no, hell fucking no, fuck no. Like,
That's some
you
vaginal shit.
just want to cry.
That's
Why?
some vaginal
Why?
shit.
For what? What? Did someone poke you? Did someone punch you? And like that's something I hear from women often. So like, there's no way you can say I'm equal to that when they can feel random emotion, and I'm like, I can feel
It's not-
confusion,
I wouldn't
but like,
say that it's random. I'm saying it manifests, and then all of a sudden you have an outburst.
Well, I would say that the reason for that is just because like men are like actively discouraged from like
Having an
experiencing
emotion.
sadness.
I mean,
Yeah, I would agree with
regardless of
that.
whatever we feel the reason it is, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we for some reason, like other than brain
Yeah,
activity,
you're trying to
we
tell a
just
pigeon
like,
not to fly.
I mean, like, if the pigeon's not flying, it's either like wings were born deformed. This one's too fat to fly. Like it's
Or
not
someone's
gonna
keeping it in
fly.
the
Like
cage.
it's not flying. Like we're just less emotional, even if it's because we're not allowed to.
We still feel those same emotions, but when it comes up, we move it aside and logic takes
We've
over.
been forced to have to control those. You guys have been told to like let them out your entire life. So you like where we cage them, and like maybe two of them or a few of them have died. Like you guys
Now-
let them live and thrive, and so you guys do have more living and an abundance, and know how to explain them, feel them, let them out, you know, discuss them, which we have problems with because we don't go through it all the time like that.
And I will say that young guys are more emotional. I'll agree with you
I
there.
was just
Young
gonna say
guys
that.
are more emotional.
And guys that grew up with just a mother,
And guys that grew up with
or
a mother.
just around
Yes.
many
More
women.
women.
And so it kind of takes for those guys to reach a breaking point or a breakthrough moment where then they reach this mentality that we're talking about.
No, I don't
but
think they ever
like-
get there.
I would
No.
disagree with that.
I know-
think
I
anybody
I would say I don't
can
think
get
most of them
there.
get there.
No, I
Fair.
think that
I'll take that. That's fair. I would agree with that. Not
Fine.
most of them
If
don't
you-
ever get there because
I'm thinking of an example.
because a lot of them fight the mentality. You have to believe in it, and it I don't know. It just works.
Well, I mean, I don't think there is such a thing as being like purely logical or objective when it comes to like men or women, like or like just for human beings in general, because there's always going to be like some like your beliefs are going to like cloud your judgment, and like in addition to that, I would say, I think that there are certain like displays of emotion that occur with more frequency, like in men. Like I mean, you hear about people like. Was it like crimes of passion or whatever? You know, like someone like finding like their significant other is like cheating on them and then like killing them or
Yeah, but
I
that's
mean,
an
it's extreme
insecure man.
example. Sure.
That's that. I would argue that that's not really a man.
Well, I would agree that it is like a sign of insecurity for sure.
Because a man's response to finding that his woman's cheating on him is he should thank her. He should thank her because she just gave him back the most precious gift you can give a guy, which is his time.
That's what he should do, but how often do people do what they should do?
But also
But that's
that
but I'm
means
saying that's what a man should do.
But then to get
if you're
to
not
that
doing
point,
that, you're not really being a man.
If a man, woman, whoever in the relationship is cheating, for instance, if we're using that as an example, then you're not going by the principles that we're preaching about, which one of them is honesty.
Yeah.
So
you should never have a reason to cheat if you're being
right.
honest.
You should not have a reason.
If you want to fuck another person, you bring it up. Hey, I want to fuck another person. Let's figure this out.
I mean, could you think maybe on this one? So women aren't quick to kill. That's why you guys don't have like the same murder rate as men.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that heavily plays into this because y'all it's not really y'all MO to actually kill. Like you guys may do some other shit like make his life a living hell and call him all the time or be the crazy ex-girlfriend that every guy has. You know what I mean? But like y'all ain't the kill. Y'all are like I'm gonna make you suffer type.
So
you know?
don't
So
think
and I see that happen often.
And I would argue that men are we're more logical than women, but we're equally as emotional as other guys because the only people that got like that's why we get in fist fights and dick measuring contests with other guys because it gets fucking heated emotional.
See, I disagree with that as well because
really.
I'm far less. Well.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's if for a guy to get in a fight with another guy, that's an emotional response. You should never let another person have that kind of power.
Like if you're
over
playing
you.
video games and you lose and you all of a sudden get mad, that's not an emotional response.
I wouldn't
Define get mad. Like throw your controller level.
Yes.
Never done that.
I'm
never
not
done
saying
that
you
either.
specifically. I'm saying like the.
But that's an emotional response.
But
Yeah.
I want to disagree. I've run into many circumstances where I'm not angry, but I know this guy needs to be beaten down a few pegs.
That's fair. I've been there too.
Yeah. I'm not quite angry, but this person is shown through their actions that
but if you
nobody
get
has ever
involved
told
into that
them.
fight, you're going to get to a level of emotion because you can't just emotionlessly fight. You're not a sociopath.
You're a boxer. Boxers aren't exactly going through a rift of emotion. Besides, I mean, I might
Well,
lose,
they've
I
learned
might win.
They've learned to control it.
I mean, other people learn it to control it in different manners and ways.
I mean,
as well.
I think there is
fair.
like probably emotion involved in boxing.
Yeah, I mean, you have the adrenaline, you have the I can lose this, the angst of I can
Yeah.
lose and stuff like that. But like, are you angry at the person that's punching you?
Well, some people do channel like
Yeah.
anger and aggression
And bite
like,
off
in
ears.
sports.
Yeah, I guess not.
And
yeah,
bite off ears.
That's
You're
fair.
right. You got that. He bit off a whole ear. Yes, that's anger.
Yeah.
That's anger. You
It's
go and shoot
passion.
someone, like yeah.
It's passion's an emotion.
Evander Holyfield doesn't even sound tasty. You know what I mean? Like that was just a bad
Ozzy
bite.
Osbourne eat a bat or something.
Yeah,
White
but on
people
stage,
weird. We
yeah.
knew this.
Well, he
Maybe that's
supposedly they was
emotional.
thrown on stage and he thought it was a fake and went to bite the head off, and then he's like, "Oh, that's real."
Gross.
Yeah. It happens in rock and roll.
When did you first realize that like men were more logical than women?
I love that question.
When did
That's
you
a great-
first realize it?
That's a great question.
Wow, I think it's definitely gonna be.
I really don't think I've ever been asked that question. That's a good question.
It's a great question.
great
I've never been asked that question. But it definitely has something. It's definitely gonna start with my
But
mom.
I
Yeah.
also want to point out that we're not saying that women are illogical
Yes, right.
We're not saying that.
No, we're just more logical.
or that men don't have emotions or emotional
Not at all.
responses.
Not at
Because
all.
I think sometimes when we talk about this, and I want to be clear because of what you
This
said
is
at
why.
the
By the
beginning
way,
of
this
this
is why
podcast.
I come off as a misogynist.
Yes.
And this is why Ani's here to clarify.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Like
She's my PR.
everyone's PR. This is why at the beginning of this episode you made that comment about how somebody had talked about this podcast or whatever. And I just really want to be clear that when we're talking about this, it's not that we're saying that one gender is one thing and not the other at all, or vice versa, but that one tends to be more logical or more emotional. And that's why we have the dynamic that we do, and that's why we're trying to break it down for people who don't necessarily understand that completely.
I mean, I think I like understand the argument that's being made.
Yeah.
It's just like
I know you do, but other
like,
people
like
don't.
generally speaking, but I am curious to see. I mean, I don't agree, but I'm
That's fair.
curious to see like where that comes from. Like when did you start believing that? Like,
Well, like, okay, like even question, like you said, you felt like more often than not, at least initially you said that you felt like you typically led in the relationships you were in, and perceivably like they haven't worked out. So like, have you tried like just letting a guy like even up front like take the reins and run it?
well, I wouldn't say. I don't think the relationship ending means that it's a failure.
That's true. I would agree with that.
So I mean, they've ended. I don't know if I would say that they haven't worked out like per se. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm open to it, certainly. I mean, I wouldn't say on principle that, like, I would, like, I wouldn't, like, let a man lead in a relationship just because, like, I wouldn't go into it, like, with that intention. But
I mean, is it possible you just haven't found a guy that's made you feel like you want to follow him and be second?
I mean, it's anything's possible, you know.
Yeah, that kind of felt like what you were trying to say, or something. Like you haven't felt it kind of felt like you were trying to say that you haven't. It's not like you're opposed to it. You just haven't found someone with those qualities that you'd be like, all right, you're good to lead.
And I'm not. And by the way, I'm not shocked. I'm not saying that like I'm shocked you haven't found that. Like those are nowadays I think are very very rare qualities because of things like social media and stuff. Like guys are just very timid and like
I
not
would
alpha
say
more
that
often than
all
not.
of my exes that were unable to lead ended it badly.
No.
Like just
Because
not,
you probably started losing respect for them when like you felt like you probably started feeling like their mom and shit. Like you had to start taking care and doing all
not
the shit.
necessarily because they just weren't able to. How do I put this? Like they were not confident enough to do so, or did not take initiative, or not like the my needs were not met because they weren't leading or paying attention to them. You know what I mean? So when we say lead, I think that there's a huge umbrella of like lead. I mean, if you're not like paying attention to what your partner needs or wants and they aren't being fulfilled, then like how is that? It's not.
Yeah,
that's not leading.
like in my relationship, my girl, like for the most part, like she needs to lead. She needs to be in control of something. So like, and I don't care. You know what I mean? I really don't care. So unless it's like a really, really, really big decision, I really like. Go ahead, do whatever you want to do. So, I mean, a lot of people, like, who's in control of my relationship? She'll tell you me, I don't care.
But, like, in the same light where having someone, like, in a relationship lead or not, like, I've never felt, well, I take that back. The only time where I felt like I wasn't an active participant is if somebody was trying to lead and they were doing a bad job.
Yeah.
And I had to, like, constantly be fighting that.
Because you could tell they were faking the funk.
Yeah.
Well, I would say, like, in or outside the context of relationship, I don't feel comfortable, like, having another person, like, make major life decisions for me.
Oh, no. No, I wouldn't have someone make a major life decision on my behalf ever. I don't think that's right.
And so that's just, like, my hesitance, I think.
Life has put me in so many circumstances already that I've learned that you don't have a choice. Well, sometimes you don't have a choice. So you rather have that person already established before you don't have that friggin' choice.
Well, like, you have a really good story about that.
Yeah, like I literally, like, I've been with my girl for a while, and I ended up in the hospital with a blood clot. Like, I've been with her so long that, like, is my mother going to make that decision? If something were to happen to me? That'd be a slap in the face, would it not?
Right. That's an interesting question. It's like, at what point do you turn, for lack of a better term, the power of attorney over to your chick for your mom?
I mean, once you decided she earned it, and definitely by that time she had earned it. I was like, you spent the time with me in the hospital, like in the tiny ass hospital bed, like, yeah, you definitely earned your bones. You serious? Yeah. So like, yeah, like life almost took a choice away from you.
You can't buy loyalty.
When we say like relationships aren't 50-50, in that case, you needed her to lead. Because you literally were not able to.
Yeah.
I mean, and
You know
would
what I
I
mean?
have cared to anyways?
Yeah,
probably not.
probably not.
And I was dying. Like
Exactly. Probably not. But in that case, like, you trust your partner to do the other more than 50%.
Yeah, because like if something was to happen where the blood clot had gone to my brain, and I lost some of the function of my brain, she knows that I don't want to be revived or anything at that point.
Yeah.
She knows
Or
that. My mother will
put that
keep me
burden on
around.
her and shit. Yeah.
My mother will keep me the hell around, and I just want to kill. I would just you'd see me every day trying to kill somebody or myself. I probably wouldn't kill myself. I'm not suicidal at all.
Yeah.
So like you'd see me trying to do something to make someone take me out.
Starbucks
You know what I mean?
juice, man. You're too happy.
Like, like yeah, like, it'd be the happiest killing ever. I'm like,
So you mentioned that you think you like your understanding about the nature of when men and women started like with your mom.
Definitely, and my older sister definitely didn't help with that. And then like, it's actually funny. My girl is people are probably gonna hate me for this, but whatever. Growing up, I was bullied so frequently and often and brutally by black women that like I had written them off as dating choices. I date a black girl now. Leave me
That's how I
alone.
feel about Armenian men. Sorry.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it literally felt like post-traumatic stress. So, like, anybody that asks black guys why they're not dating black women, ask them about their history with black women, because it's
Black women are bears. You have to.
It's
it's
like
tough.
It's like, am I going to?
Armenian men look like bears.
And he wasn't going the looking bears angles. Leave him the fuck alone. So it's just, I think it's a very important question to ask, and that's why I said the mind is more important to me. You know what I'm saying? Because I had written them off. I'm dating a black girl now, but I had written them off as people to date because I've in my history I was like, yo, am I going to take the chance again when I've seen so many be aggressive? You know what I'm saying? Am I going to keep taking that am I going to go into a situation like that when I haven't seen any of these other races be aggressive, but like they're always aggressive toward this race, particularly these always aggressive towards me? Why would I take that? Why would I even shoot that dart?
Well, I mean, I think that the human brain is sort of like wired to see patterns.
It
in
is.
Things. Like one person may have like a negative experience with someone and then see like, let's say like they like write off like women or like write off people who are religious. I mean, I think it like everyone kind of interprets it differently. So I mean, it's interesting. I don't know. I digress, but
No, go ahead. I mean, I think that was that was definitely a good one because
but you said that you had like multiple negative experiences with black women.
Yeah, so like my sister, I love her to death, but like
They're aggressive.
she it definitely started with her, and then I was bullied by two of them in elementary school.
They're aggressive and assertive.
And then like I got spanked by my mother. My father never spanked me. Like literally I never had a different occurrence with black women other than someone that was beating me, someone that was making fun of me, someone that was like, I never had a different experience. And like even with white men, I had two white bullies, but I also had a white guy that had been taking care of me since the day I was born. It's like I knew him as long as I knew my real dad. Actually, at this point, my dad's dead. I'd known him longer. So like I at least had the duality that I could never write off white men, but I never had that balancing act with black women.
And what changed with your current like partner to make you like break that?
So I would laugh, but I would say that my friends, they call her the whitest black girl they've ever met. Like if like even on the
inside out Oreo.
Like literally, you hear her on the phone, and like she gets to interviews that like
you wouldn't know she's black from the phone.
They're like, we weren't expecting that at all. So like
he literally was like in the car one time. He's like, yo, listen to this shit. Don't say anything. He was like talking on the phone, and then like afterwards, he was like, what race do you think she is? I was like, why? Nah. And then I met her. I was like,
so you mean that like in terms of personality?
Yeah, like culture as well. Culture, like she grew up going to an all-white boarding school. Like culturally, she doesn't have much black
she
to her.
Seems like she has the aggression.
She's
still
her mom. Her mom. Her mom's one of the most brilliant women I've ever met. Also, one of the most like.
Careful.
I don't
You're
know.
on a podcast.
I don't know, like, she's one of the most brilliant women I've ever met, but at the same time, I just don't get her. And I don't, like, yeah, I'll leave it there with that one.
Yeah.
I don't get her.
So you're not defining blackness as far as, like, the category that someone's born in or, like, what they look like. It's, like, just, like, culturally. So it's like the culture that you were like put off by.
So would you argue that black people in this country have been hardened by the times and the tribulations of what has gone on in the past?
Sure.
And still with the stuff that we have to relive today?
Yeah, I mean, I think that like slavery usually has a negative impact on people.
I mean, that's fair, but I say this to make a point. Like, if you have the choice not to deal with a hardened person, do you want to? Or do you want to? Are you going to force yourself to, just because you feel like you should force yourself to? You know what I mean? It's not, especially if it's uncomfortable.
I don't know. I mean, I think that people who have like been through something in their lives like have character, and so I don't think it's like a deal breaker for me to someone who's had like trauma.
Well. It's not a deal breaker. I wouldn't say. Well, I stayed in the community. Like I still ended up dating a black girl, and it wasn't because I was looking for a white version of a black girl. No, like I was still open, But like at the same time, like you're gonna have to show me drastically that you're very different from what I've seen in my past. So I'm still open to it. That's how I ended up in it. But at the same time, I mean, am I going to carry some of these perceptions with me? I mean, yes, it's the way the human brain works. It wants me to avoid these less than happy experiences. And your brain is going to do everything it can to make you avoid those. So whether I want to or not, without thinking of it, I'm running a little long. So, regardless of how I feel about it, my brain is definitely doing its own wiring to make sure that I feel safe emotionally, at least. So, I don't know. I mean, I didn't I'm literally attracted to all women. I love them. So like I didn't choose that for myself. It's just my brain was like, you don't like this. You don't like being treated this way, and we're seeing associations between these two things. Like I understand how. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys want to wrap or get to clips real quick?
We've been going for like 2 hours.
I think we should wrap one. We save the clips for next one.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was
Wow,
tremendous.
this was gotta get you back. I
I
feel like
love
I
when
have
guests
enough
come
of you.
with
Like,
questions.
I know, right? It's
she
so
had
great.
a lot. She had questions, man. I was like, wow,
This is the best.
this is awesome, yo.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys stuck with us the whole time. Great conversation. Thank you for joining us for another installment of the Kingz Podcast. I am yours truly, wow.
Who
After
are
all
you?
that talking, I can't even talk. Who are you? Your boy, Karizmatik.
Irish O'Neal.
Ani Moush.
Produce it on.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, King. See you next time.
Thank you.
All the kings.
Subscribe.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe.
Even the warden stay straight thuggin'. White boys flooding. Black CIA agents corrupted. Flying cocaine planes hustling. Banks stay smuggling funds from the public for the turf war against A-Raps with AKs busting. Oil fields flooded. Block boys searching for ways out. Rapping the kid day name buzzing. Confederate flag rhetoric terrorizes minds of an awkward